Carter, do you watch The Bachelor?
I have before.
Yeah, I remember you watched Matt James's season, and then that went about the worst possible route it could have gone for you to be a continued viewer of that program.
Yeah, I'd like to get back in though.
Yeah, well, you know that the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives star is going to be the new Bachelorette?
Yeah, not a fan of that.
See, I don't know anything about her. I just thought I know you watched that show, so I thought maybe it'd be a good in route for you.
Yeah, well, I'll have to tune in because of that, but I can't believe that she's the Bachelorette.
Got it. Okay. We'll have to sidebar on this. Anyways, this is a Tay Kinney video. I have a reason for all of this. Let me please connect the dots. So let me just teach you a quick Bachelor 101 lesson here. There's a two-on-one date every single year in The Bachelor. It's the two-on-one date. It's usually when they get down to like 8 people left and there's high stakes. And you know, if you get the invite to the two-on-one date with the lead, one of you's going home, right? It is 1v1, head to head at the top of a cliff, a beautiful sunset in the background. You each take your 10 minutes with the lead. One of you emerges victorious, and one of you is crying in a bus or a helicopter sometimes. That's how the two-on-one dates work. Are you familiar with the concept?
I am, yes.
Okay. Let me give you a little a little behind the curtain to the psychology of being the bachelor for a moment. You never bring a serious contender to win the show on the two-on-one date. You never do that. You know why?
Why?
Because you wouldn't put the one you really love through that. You wouldn't do that, right? You don't want the drama to affect the person you actually care about. You want the drama. You want good ratings. You want good television. You want entertainment. Carter, I say all this to say, Tay Kinney knew what he was doing when he scheduled his cute little two-on-one in-home visit with Pat Kelsey and Mark Poe. Neither one of those two are serious candidates. If you are to believe the reports here, Kentucky and Louisville have been going head to head, blow for blow, month for month for almost a year now for a player that ultimately was never going to choose them because the insiders tell us that Tay Kinney is going to commit to Kansas. Tay Kinney has set a date. He will choose his college publicly on September 28th. That's what Joe Tipton was told. And the crystal balls are flowing in for Bill Self's Kansas Jayhawks. Bill Self, who notably was not in home at the Kinney residence at midnight when the new period began. We could debate whether these crystal balls are right. We would not be stunned if there is one more twist in this recruitment before the decision day comes out. But as of now, it sounds like everyone on the inside expects Kansas to be the choice for Tay Kinney and Pat Kelsey and Mark Pope to come up empty-handed. What do you make of all this?
Greg, can I start a new challenge?
Please.
Something I hope takes the country by storm. The challenge, I'm trying to find a good name for it, but it's surrounded by OTE player have a normal recruitment. That's the challenge I'd like to throw out there. I haven't seen it yet. Don't know if I'll ever see it, but the twists and the turns will never ever stop. There could be, I mean, 6 to 7 more turns with Tay Kenny, for all we know. So it seems like Bill Self just kind of came through like a little thief in the night, to be honest with you. As much as like Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey kind of did the little midnight visits, Bill Self was able to have, maybe enough of an impact to overcome the hometown push that is being put on for Tay Kenny.
So this is just OTE chaos to you.
I mean, literally just as we recorded this video this morning, Tay Kenny posted a picture of him, I think at a Louisville sporting event, a young him, with Tyron Stokes at a Louisville sporting event.
You know what it is, though, then. This is just like it's the kids you warn your kids about. Like, hey, I know those kids are like popular, they're cool, but it's not the greatest crowd.
Not
You
the
know,
greatest.
like just be careful when you're around those kids, you know? I think that's OTE. Like that those recruitments are always mysterious at best in nature.
Yeah, and they never truly over. They're not over, and you never truly know because look, Kansas was on the list, but like this was pretty heavy. Like, oh, is it going to be Kentucky? Is it going to be Louisville? And for Kansas to just end up seemingly in the lead is, I mean, it shouldn't be surprising because it's Kansas, but a little bit surprising.
Do you so you buy the reports? You think it's a done deal to Kansas?
I think so. Yeah.
But at the same time, you're saying they're never over. And
Yeah. but
Two weeks.
it's as much of a done deal as a done deal can be given the circumstances.
I mean, there's 2 weeks left. Never over.
OT recruitments are never ever over.
So if you're Pat Kelsey or Mark Pope, what is your approach now? You've heard the reports. Everybody tells you it's Kansas. Are you putting a full court press on in the final 2 weeks trying to flip him, or are you moving on?
I'm moving on.
But a lot of smart people might have told these guys to move on before showing up at his house at midnight when the new period opened. Like, it doesn't exactly feel like it's a strength for Pat Kelsey or Mark Pope right now to read the room.
Yeah, I mean, look, would they have liked to do it earlier? Yes, hindsight's 2020, but now just get out.
Okay, where do they move on to? Kentucky wants Rippy, but that doesn't seem easy.
Yeah,
It
Kentucky.
sounded like it's been reported that Louisville could pivot to Rippy too.
Yeah, Louisville, I think could pivot to Rippy. Also like Louisville's pretty much in on Cole Landry. No, it's a different player, but yeah, I think you switch to some other point guards that are in this class, like a Ron Rippy.
Got it. Okay. Kansas. What does this mean for the Jayhawks?
What's that one meme? Unc still got it. Yeah, Unc still got it.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Jay Hawks.
Hawks. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Did Bill Self just like take a gap year money wise? Is that what's going on here? Because if you believe the why behind this, it's not just, oh, it's Kansas now. The why behind this is that Kansas upped the offer for Tay Kinney enough that even Louisville had to step back and be like, that's too steep. Now, I would say this, and I said this in our Discord to some Louisville fans. I'm pretty sure Louisville's roster this year is worth more and getting paid more than Kansas's. Now, Kansas obviously has had the deepest bags in the sport for forever, but I thought that teams like Kentucky and Louisville were on an even playing field with
I,
Bill Self right now.
they are. They are.
So what happened here?
This got upped. And to me, in my opinion, Pat Kelsey and Mark Pope both said, "Well, that's a little too that's the line for me.
Why would they do that?
If you want to pay that for Tay Kenny, go ahead. I rather not.
So you think if this was Kel Brown, Pat Kelsey would have matched an offer?
Yes,
It says something about the caliber of Tay Kinney, the player, that they don't.
I think so.
Interesting. So is this an overpay by Bill Self without knowing what any of the numbers are?
No, because I think also Bill Self had to do this.
Why?
Who else is he in on?
Well, he's Bill Self.
Is he?
Make this exact same offer for Ron Rippey.
Is he?
Is Bill Self Bill Self? Is that what you're asking me? You're asking me on a video where Bill Self swooped into a recruitment with Kentucky and Louisville, took their priority target, and you're asking me if Bill Self is Bill Self?
All right, he's still Bill Self. You are correct about that. That's right. That's a hand up on me.
But he could have done this with Rippey or anyone in the class, in theory,
I
right?
mean, Dylan Mingo is Brandon McCoy is still very much available, which I also heard that someone else might be making a little pushki on him as well. So, yeah, I think there's other options that you could have did this with.
Okay. Adidas ties, though.
The Adidas ties rang true.
Maybe there's probably some executive at an Adidas cubicle right now taking phone calls from Bill Self and Tay Kenny's family at the same time. Like,
I mean, you see what Bucket Jones is already doing as an Adidas athlete. He's got everything going on for him at Kansas right now.
we're still going with Bucket.
He calls himself Bucket Jones.
If we call Darren Peterson Bucket, can we call Tay Kenny Pail?
Like he is pale.
Every bucket needs a pail.
Those two will never step on the floor together.
They won't.
No,
I figured they'd both be playing for the same NBA franchise at some point, honestly.
they will not step on the same floor as college teammates.
Got it. All right. Well, what's our takeaway from this? Do we have to take away anything substantial from this? Or can we kind of just tolerate this news and move on?
This not ending up as either Kentucky or Louisville surprising, but I think then you just kind of take it for what it is. It's Bill Self getting in here and Bill Self still showing he's got the money cannons and the pitch to make it happen. And I think you just take it like that. And if you're Purdue, I'm sorry, not Purdue, if you're Kentucky and Louisville, you move on and you pivot.
Okay, so I am going to wait before actually giving a monologue on this, but I am going to say how my heart feels right now as I watch this play out. We're sneaky close to needing to have a Mark Pope conversation that no one's hinting that we need to have.
I didn't think we'd have to.
So this is what's going on. And I'm talking strictly recruiting. I'm not talking his ability to win basketball games, which ultimately matters. Mark Pope could bring in a bunch of 3 stars and that's it. And as long as he wins basketball games, Big Blue Nation will love him. And he won every big game on the schedule last year until the Sweet 16. So, not talking winning basketball games. I am talking recruiting. I am only talking recruiting. And this is what I want to say. I think this was a major misstep from both Kelsey and Pope. Major misstep. Pretty large red flag that these two coaches are not reading the room. And yeah, I don't care if it's just Bill Self offered more money. Kentucky's supposed to have more money than anyone. Louisville is paying at a top 5 rate right now. Like you can't tell me that money is a deal breaker and there's nothing we can do when you're Louisville or Kansas. It's your job to compete financially with Kansas. If you are Pat Kelsey or Mark Pope, fundraise, get the money for it. Or if you're Mark Pope, just offer more money. We were told you had more money. You could steal. Mark Pope could be the guy that's getting the "we stole him from Pat Kelsey" narrative right now. And instead, he's not for whatever reason. So whatever. Money, like I just don't accept that as an excuse, even if it's real. The thing that is more concerning to me is this. I think Kentucky and specifically Mark Pope has thought that they have had a chance at landing basically everyone they've gone after. And if you listen to non-Kentucky sources on them, they don't. The only player that like a national non-Kentucky person is reporting Kentucky leads on is Tyron Stokes. And as you just said with Tay Kinney, that ain't a recruitment I would want to bank my entire class on because how can you trust that kid, right? At every turn, it's been mysterious. He loves the mystery and he's on record basically saying as such. So, look, if Kentucky lands Tyron Stokes, as insiders believe they lead for, then all this is dead and I have no issues. You landed the number 1 player in the class. But if you can't step back and see what I see right now, which is Mark Pope is directing his efforts to players thinking he's leading recruitments when he's not, and it's all going to come back to if he lands Stokes, which we all agree is a complicated, mysterious recruitment, and if Mark Pope thinks he leads for it, it's quite the risk. Because if you strike out on Kinney, and you strike out on Stokes, and you strike out on Rippey, who may end up being a Louisville lean at this point with the domino effect, and you strike out on Caleb Holt, and you strike out on all these other guys you believe that you're in it for and or leading for, the 24/7's writing you don't. I'm going to have some questions. Why can't you read a room? You're Kentucky's head coach. Yeah. And by the way, and I get everyone's happy with the roster cart, but you got to give me a moment to finish this. The recruiting high school players is one element of it. Let's also remember that this happened with his priority transfer targets. And that's how you end up overpaying for Denzel Aberdeen. Because you didn't get Donovan Dent. You didn't get Silas Demery. You didn't get Yaxel Lendeborg. So you quickly pivoted and said, money? Okay, Aberdeen. Pay him. Let's pay Alabama's 6th man. And everyone's happy with it. But the point is this. In the big boy recruitments, Mark Pope has consistently thought that he's had a shot, and ultimately it hasn't come to fruition right now. And I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah, look, it's all we'll give credit for being in on recruitments, but at the end of the day, it's can you close? Can you close? And also, why aren't you closing? Because you are this guy who has this great infectious personality. People love you, parents love you. You have the financial backing. Why are we getting guys? Why, when we want a guy like Caleb Holt, are we getting reports of him like taking official visits to Providence?
Right.
Why are we letting that happen?
I mean, like Jordan Smith, Rippey, like all these, and Kentucky sources are like, Kentucky's right there. But then you listen to non-Kentucky sources, and it's like, yeah, I'm not here in Kentucky for Rippy.
Right.
So,
Like Arfon John, like all these, eventually you got to get these guys.
but just bottom line, if there's a disconnect between the people whose sources Mark Pope telling him how the recruitments are going, and then the people who have sources everywhere, there's a disconnect between what Mark Pope's perception of the situation is versus what's real. And
Right.
clearly that's happening with Kinney. We were surprised that he showed up at midnight to Kinney's house because everyone thought Kentucky was out of it,
Right.
and Pope didn't. So it's just fascinating. And everything I'm saying about Pope could be applied to Kelsey, by the way, in terms of how the Kinney recruitment went. The difference is Kelsey got Michael Brown and bought himself some time, right?
Mhm.
You win that recruitment, I'm not on your ass for a year. The wins from our Pope have been state of Kentucky kids. You got Jasper, Malachi Moreno, who's Kentucky adjacent, what, right? Indiana elite kid, right
Yeah.
around there.
But he's from
Um,
Kentucky originally, I think.
right. And then even like, man, you go through some of your best recruits. Caden Lewis, you fumbled that situation too. And now everyone's saying he's going to be an NBA player immediately. So I think we're dangerously on the verge of like we need to have a conversation is all I'm saying. And I don't think anybody realizes that because they're in every recruitment. But how in are you if Bill Self can make one phone call and sway you? So
Yeah. So we're monitoring, not yet, but the conversation will be had if it gets to that.
hashtag monitoring.